In this episode, I'm talking to Roux Wildenboer, one of the senior loan operator instructors, and we are discussing concealed carry. Good evening, Rian Kutsia, Fortis Proactive Defense Solutions. I am back talking to Roux Wildenboer, one of the senior instructors on the loan operator course, and we are going to be talking about concealed carry. Roux, welcome.
Hi, Rian, and hello to our watchers and listeners. It's nice to talk to you again.
Roux, what is this thing that one has to keep on coming back to, this concealed carry thing? I mean, it's a legal requirement to begin with, but I still see so many people who just don't get it for whatever reasons. What does the law say about concealed carry?
I'd like to start by saying that there's a couple of gun shops that if me as a concealed carrier, if I walk into them, I know I'm safe. Okay, not because the guys behind the counter are carrying weapons openly. It's because if there's any kind of organized hit on that gun shop, they are going to shoot me last. Okay, because I do not advertise that I am carrying a gun. Now, the law says that in terms of the Firearms Control Act, any weapon that you carry has to be in your personal control, okay? It needs to be under your direct control, and it needs to be concealed, and it needs to be in a holder or holster that is made for that weapon. And the key word there is that it is concealed. As soon as a weapon is not concealed, it can be considered to be some sort of means of intimidation. And you are not allowed to use a weapon as a means of demand or as a means of intimidation. So automatically, if me with an unconcealed firearm go to talk to my boss about a bonus or a raise, it can be construed that I am intimidating you, which is why to the general public, it's not allowed for you to carry an unconcealed weapon. And many people believe that carrying an unconcealed weapon will discourage or chase away bad guys. They are going to see the weapon and they are going to think, man, I don't wanna get into trouble with this guy. He's dangerous. He's got a gun. And for the opportunistic criminal, the guy that wants to steal your wallet or your cell phone, that may be true. It may be. But for the professional criminal, the guy who wants your gun, you are a flashing advertisement that you are the one that he wants. And that oak and his buddies are not going to make themselves known to you. They are going to hide very carefully. They are going to do proper surveillance on you, and they are going to catch you when you really do not have a way out. And then they are not going to negotiate with you. They are going to kill you, and they are going to take your gun, because it is not the first time that they have done that. And they are not after your cell phone. They will leave your cell phone and your wallet on you. They don't want that. They want your gun. Or they want access to the rest of your house for other guns, because they know now you're obviously a gun person. Very few people in South Africa who have a handgun only have a handgun. Most of the time, the handgun is probably, I know for myself, and speaking of all of the people that I know, I mean, handgun is the second or the third or the fourth gun that you get. Me, myself, I got 2 hunting rifles before I got a handgun. So if they wait for you at your house, they know you very likely have other guns as well, and that's what they're after. And they're not there to negotiate, and they're not there to play games. So the law says keep it concealed. Many people don't do that, and yeah.
Let's talk about a concealed gun. What is a properly concealed gun? Because as far as I'm concerned, if you carry the gun on you and you're wearing this tight t-shirt to show off your muscles, and that gun prints
Yeah.
like you can see it at a country mile, or your t-shirt, your shirt is too short, so you're doing outer waistband carry on your side, on your hip,
Yeah.
and that the bottom end of the holster is sticking out from under the shirt. It is as good as not concealed. So what would you
Oh,
consider to be a properly concealed firearm?
no, absolutely, absolutely. You'll remember the biggest thing that you have to your advantage in any kind of self-defense scenario is the element of surprise. Now, on the Fortis and the lone operator courses, we dig into what is OODA loop and what is the body alarm reaction, what is the color codes of awareness. And the biggest thing to realize is that the bad guy that is attacking you is several steps ahead of you, and he is already in motion, executing what he believes to be the actions that he needs to take to steal something from you or to hurt you. And by the time that you realize what's going on, that oak has planned and is busy executing his motion. So the only thing really that you have to your advantage is the element of surprise. So carrying a weapon in a way that at all shows that you are carrying a weapon, to many guys and especially gentlemen, like I'm talking to you specifically, they feel it is kind of a sign of respect or a threatening kind of status symbol to have a concealed gun, but everybody knows that you have a gun. And but it's concealed, so you're still in compliance with the law, but everybody knows you have it. And to them, that's
Yeah.
like, well, I'm doing my part to obey the law, but I'm also letting everyone know that I have a gun. And to them, it's kind of a status thing, they're walking around, and you can't tell
Ego.
them, listen, you have a gun, because they're going to tell you, no, it's concealed, or no, whatever. But it's pointing out, like you say, like I've seen people bend over carrying strong side with a shirt that's too small, and then the grip does stick up. That's not an urban myth. It happens. So a properly concealed weapon is one that fades into your clothes. It's something that people cannot really, even if they look. And me being, in sort of in the firearms sphere and so on, I start looking for people. Like if I see a guy walk in with 511 boots and cargo pants and a Glock shirt, and he's got a Punisher cap, and he's got like a wrist, like a watch, which is made of paracord, the strap is made of paracord. Yeah, I start looking for, where is the gun? Where is the gun? And wearing a concealed gun is supposed to be, nobody's even supposed to even suspect. It needs to fade into your work clothes. It's supposed to fade into your exercise clothes or your recreational clothes. It needs to, when a shirt hangs over it, it's not supposed to show pointy little bits protruding out of the shirt. And that goes along with getting proper gear, proper belt, proper holster. It also does go along with getting yourself into some sort of shape, because, unfortunately, I don't make the rules, but if you have a
It
little bit of
helps.
if you have a little bit of a flotation device, then it becomes more difficult to conceal. And so it does become there's pointy things that don't blend into the roundy things that are normally
Yep.
there, and so
And
a
it's
properly concealed
uncomfortable.
gun. Yeah, and it's uncomfortable. So a properly concealed gun, even though it is uncomfortable, it needs to fade away, and that also goes along with picking the correct clothes that you wear when you want to carry concealed. I mean, every piece of clothing doesn't conceal as well as the next. So making your gun and your holster and your belt fit into your wardrobe is one aspect, and then slightly adapting your wardrobe as well to give you the most options with your gun is also fantastic. Tight fitting shirts, although they are flattering if you've got a six pack or so, it's not fantastic for concealing, definitely. So no, a concealed gun needs to not exist. It needs to fade away.
Let's talk about location of your carry, because the one
Yeah.
big drawback of a concealed carry method is obviously the fact that whenever you have to access that firearm under duress, there is
Yeah.
inevitably a shirt, a jacket, a shirt and a jacket. There is
Yeah.
something in the way that you now have to get out of the way. So that adds to the whole process, and it adds time to something that would otherwise have been a lot faster, your draw, if you don't have to get your shirt out of the way as well.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, let's talk about carry locations and options, and how all of that can affect your operation
Yeah.
when the brown stuff hits the whirly thingy.
Yeah.
In terms of
And
getting
everybody,
used to where you carry
yeah,
and it's irrespective where if you carry, say for instance, a baton on you, if you carry it in a different position every time.
it doesn't 100%. It doesn't matter if it's a baton, if it's pepper spray, if it's a taser. There's a whole argument around all of those things, which is why we're a firearms trading company. But no, 100%. Look, I mean, we've all seen the olden day movies where the guys just sort of jam the pistol into their belt. Okay, and that's the first no-no. Like wear a proper holster. You want to keep yourself safe, which means don't allow the opportunity for there to be accidental discharges and so on, which can injure yourself. Especially a more modern carry position like appendix inside waistband. Like it's imperative to have a proper holster. It's in an area where there's high risk. But in terms of, so there's a couple of old school thoughts and ideas, and most of that, people are aware of because of Hollywood, and that goes apart with undercover cops carrying underneath their arm. And there's a couple, and I'm not bashing any of that. It's fantastic. Carrying a firearm at all is better than not having one. To me, it's about how can I get my firearm without moving. How can I get it with moving the least? How can I get my hands on the gun, and in so doing, move my hands and my arms the least amount of distance? So to me, something
Yeah.
like underarm carry. So to me, something like underarm carry, it's just my hands need to move quite far. And regardless of, I mean, on the range, underarm carry is dangerous because in drawing the gun, you sweep yourself and all of your fellow range mates. And as we know, in a self-defense scenario, there's not really something as a safe direction. Whatever you do, you probably run the risk of sweeping an innocent person, and which is why the finger off the trigger safety rule is so important. But to me, where you carry needs to be thought of in the context of how can I get to the gun the quickest. And so to me, my preference is appendix inside waistband, because if I stand relaxed or my hands are in front of my body, it needs to cover the shortest amount of distance. So the most usual place for people to carry is on their belt somewhere, either appendix inside waistband, that's become a very popular option, or the more traditional strong side or 3 o'clock carry, which is also 100% fine, granted that in both cases you have the correct holster and belt and so on. There's a controversial carry position that is also quite popular, believe it or not, which is small off back carry. And that,
Yes, I've seen
I
that.
think, yeah, there's pros and cons. Like, I mean, like, we don't bash, I will never tell you thou shall not carry there, but I want to guard against carrying a gun in positions where you are likely to lose control of that gun should someone recognize that you have it. So if you carry small of back, my first thing would be carry, it's about the hilt orientation as well. Many guys need to invert their hand to get to the gun, which is not great. Many persons and many shooters carry strong side, but so far towards their back that it's almost on their bum. And that to me is not yet small of back carry. That to me is still kind of strong side, because I don't have to turn my hand to invert my hand with the palm outwards to get to the gun. But even strong side and small of back, you need to pay very close attention to not advertising, to not printing, because if someone does see that gun, you may be liable to them trying to take it from you and defending yourself on that side, especially at your very back. Strong side, there's still an argument to be made, but especially at your back. If someone sees you carrying a gun behind your back and they want to take that gun from you, they are automatically in control, because it's very difficult for you to defend the gun behind your back if they try to take it from you.
Absolutely. it's an almost unnatural movement
A little bit.
especially under that level of duress. If you
Yeah, a
suddenly
little bit.
have to get hold of that firearm and you have to now get your hand behind your back.
Yeah.
And I
And in a
mean,
car.
always keeping in mind that you're going to have to, it doesn't matter where you keep the gun, when you grab it to get it out of the holster under duress, you also have to keep control of that firearm. It doesn't
Yeah.
help you grab it, but you don't have it properly seated in your hand
Proper
that
grip.
when you get up
Yeah.
front,
100%.
now you have to change your grip. It falls out of your hand. There's so many
Yeah.
variations that
Um,
I think it's
100%.
it's a it's a very risque chess move
Yeah.
to carry it small back.
And in the context of that, there's people that, I mean, you can at the moment buy online or over Temu almost a holster to carry anywhere. So
Mm.
you really do have to adapt where you carry to what you're doing. So if you're an athlete and you run trail or you go for long road runs and so where there are other people, you need to kind of consider, do I want to risk not running with my gun, given that I'm now out and open and I'm vulnerable? I don't even have a car. The answer is probably that you do want to. And you hear too many stories about bikers and runners being robbed and hurt and even killed for for their bikes or for their phones or just because, you know. So carrying your gun definitely, but in that sense, you need to consider, is my belt sturdy enough, or do I need to make another plan? There's right now there's very nice and convenient chest pouches, which doesn't advertise. It almost looks like a fanny pouch, but around your chest with quick access zips or so. But not, I want to say, not carrying is probably always the worst option. It's like always,
Mm.
like try and always carry. But if you're now in a scenario where your clothes and your wardrobe really doesn't permit you to carry, there are guys that carry their backup guns in heel holsters, ankle holsters, which can work very well. But like I said, that's kind of a backup gun because in a high stress environment, say a hijacking or so, are you going to reach your ankle? Maybe not. Maybe not. In the car, you want the gun on you, certainly, for various reasons. So the location in where you carry, definitely in a car, is not in the cubbyhole. It's not under the seat. It's not under your leg. It's not in the door, that little crevice in the door. It's certainly not there. Um, it's definitely on you because if there's, I mean, you're much more likely to get in a car accident than you're actually likely to get hijacked. So carry on body in a car always. That's the advice. Carrying in handbags and things like that. It really depends. You know, your handbag gets stolen so quickly,
Yeah.
and now you're in a tug of war with the bad guy, and he thinks he's stealing a wallet or a purse or a cell phone, and you're fighting to keep your gun. And so that's also not a fantastic place, you know. And I think we talk about carrying positions in the context of men, but got a lot of female shooters and female listeners, and certainly it presents a problem. So you need to kind of adapt, like I said,
For
adapt your wardrobe. There's now modern carry equipment, like there's on body belts and straps and things that work really really well. The key is keeping it concealed and getting to it quickly.
for women, it gets a lot more interesting because their clothing differs
You know?
quite a lot generally from what men wear. We
Yeah,
get away with pants and you can put a sturdy belt on an holster, but oftentimes women want to wear dresses, and then it becomes interesting with keeping these points in mind. And I'm not going to go into detail on that. I have had discussions with specifically some of the
yeah,
ladies, instructors on the loan operator course on this topic in quite a bit of depth. I've also discussed it with Aziza from CHS Guns in depth. So if you're a lady listening to this and this is a question that you have, just check under the videos. You'll find it there and check it out. You will certainly find it worth your while to do that if you've got questions about proper carrying, concealed carry of your firearm.
yeah,
Wearing more sort of traditional women's clothing, tight fitting, less zips, less pockets, etc., etc. If back to the concealed carry thing, appendix carry is probably the position that is the most easily concealed.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. For many people, it is. We know a lot of shooters and instructors that don't carry appendix, but there certainly is advantages to that. Especially for me in terms of the fact that you can easily shield the gun. If someone attacks you, you can curl up into a ball, and then they don't have access to that gun. In terms of getting the garment away from the gun, I don't think there's much advantage between appendix and say something like strong side. But yeah, appendix has become very, very popular, especially for people who carry when they drive. You're not. I mean, the modern day bucket seats in cars sometimes make it difficult for you to reach the gun on the strong side. But I mean, you can mitigate that by how you train and how you learn yourself to move in the car. So nothing is off bounds, and nothing is is taboo when that's concerned. Like I said, carry anywhere rather than not carrying. But certainly to me, I'm gonna be completely honest, I am a little bit biased. I do prefer appendix inside waistband, but there's many other incredible shooters and also instructors that prefer a different location, and that's also fine. But yeah, certainly in terms of concealment for me and my wardrobe, that works the best. And also in terms of my body mechanics, when I need to draw, and I draw the fastest from concealment, appendix inside waistband.
And it always comes, so for me, it boils down to, okay, conceal your gun.
Yeah.
It's not only a legal requirement, it is, as far as I'm concerned, also a safety thing.
Very.
Don't advertise. Don't advertise. It's just not clever to advertise, because you may feel all gung-ho and young and strong and whatever the case might be. But the reality is that odds are that if somebody decides, ooh, I want that guy's gun, it's going to happen so quick that it'll be over before you realize it, and then it's done. And then you've got, if you're alive, you've got some explanations.
You make yourself such a big target. Actually, that's to me, it's a big thing, and not just you, also the people around you. You don't want to advertise yourself as someone who can even sort out the situation. Maybe you weren't even the target, but now just because you are carrying, now you become the target. And even if they're after something else, you become the first person that they attack, because they don't want you to step into the fight.
Exactly.
It draws undue attention to yourself, and it makes escaping, to me, it makes escaping a little bit more complex. You can always run away, sure, but you're always going to be the guy that gets targeted, because you either the fighter or the
merely for the fact that you have a gun that they can see you have it, excuse me, and they now consider you a threat that needs to be taken care of. So there's quite a few things that you have to factor into your thinking here, over and above the fact that the argument should really end with it's a legal requirement.
It should.
Ideally, it's supposed to end right there, but we know it doesn't. And then secondly, functionality and that habit of you always, where your gun is. It's in the exact same position, so you dress around that instead of different outfits, different. I mean, sometimes you can't help it.
Well, I want to, like you said, something very important now is you get used to where the gun is, which means you are always carrying. And the point being, when you conceal, you make it possible for yourself to always carry. If you don't conceal, you can only carry in certain environments. You can only carry in certain circumstances, because many professions and many workplaces and offices actually have policies against carrying unconcealed guns in the office. So merely by not being able to conceal, you limit yourself to where you are able to carry. Okay, now I've got a gun, but I can only carry unconcealed. So I can only carry when I'm on the farm. which means you're not really an everyday carrier. You are a sometimes carrier. You limit yourself to carry only when you can actually carry unconcealed. Giving yourself the right tools and training to carry concealed allows you to carry everywhere, because that's the key. Is you are not, and I want to, so like, this is the key concept. You don't have the luxury of deciding when something is going to happen to you. Like, I know so many people, like close to me. I know people that are close to me that say, no, they're going to carry today because they're headed into Joburg. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not going to argue with that. It's probably a good idea. But you should probably also carry to church in your complex, and you should probably also carry going to fill up your car at the garage, and you should probably also carry when you're dropping your kid off at school. And
Exactly.
concealing means you make it able for yourself to carry in all of those places, which is the key. I mean, they might get you when you're going to Joburg, so don't go into Joburg. But always, if you carry, always carry. Like, always carry. Don't not carry. Always. When I go into the bathroom, I've got my gun with me. When I go to church, I carry. Little personal, but if you carry, always carry. Don't let yourself be caught without your gun. Then you're just a guy that wish he had his gun. You're not the
Well,
guy who can do something.
it's a mindset, isn't it? It's pointless.
100%.
You are at home and you are now relaxing. You are watching a new movie on Netflix. And because you're at home relaxing, you left your gun
Yeah,
in
you
your
put your gun away.
bedroom, or you put it in the safe. And now something happens. Now you have
Yeah,
to get your gun first before you can find yourself in a position to offer resistance should it be necessary.
yeah.
So
That's
the habit must be put in place and then maintained.
100%.
Ideally.
100%. I like golden rule is wherever you find yourself, have your gun within arm's reach. Like, if you're sitting at the TV and you consider, look, it really does become uncomfortable carrying appendix, but have the gun within arm's reach, so that if something happens, like you say, you don't have to sprint to the kitchen table next to the open window where you left your gun when you walked in the door. Like there's horrible things that I've seen at people's houses. They walk in, they're dutiful carriers. They do the training, they live the life, they've got the mindset. They walk in the door at their own home. They walk into the kitchen, they unstrap the gun, they put it on the kitchen counter right next to the open kitchen window, and then they carry on. They go out, work in the garden, or they sit and watch TV. Don't be that guy. Like, if you have your gun, like, have it with you. It's a commitment. It's a massive commitment, and it is uncomfortable. Like, nobody that carries daily is going to tell you it's lacquer, it's comfortable, it makes your life easy. It's uncomfortable. It's pointy. It's heavy. It messes with your body mechanics, but do it anyway.
Thinking about that now, you put the gun down somewhere, let's say on a dressing table in your room or something. Now you go about, you're gonna have a shower to refresh, then you're gonna have dinner, blah blah blah, and then the shit hits the fan, and there's that pressure on you. I mean, I have put my keys down somewhere, and suddenly I have to leave in a hurry for whatever reason,
Yeah,
and there's just that touch of panic. It's not full on panic, but it's just a touch where your heartbeat starts accelerating, and then you're like, oh shit, where's my keys? Okay, they're like, where did
100%.
I put my keys? You're gonna do
Yes,
the same for you're gonna do the same for your gun if it's not on you. But there's
absolutely.
you're increasing the odds of something silly like that
Yeah,
happening. So establish the
yeah,
habit, and then last but not least, I think we've covered the topic now, as in uh, don't be that guy who open carries your firearm somewhere, thinking that you are being cool. You really are not being cool. You are the furthest from being cool. I'm sorry.
So
There's no
I
other
want
way
you.
of putting it.
So if that's you and you're listening to this podcast, or you're looking at this video, I don't want you to feel bad, but think about
Mm.
you open carrying and walking into a place, and there's 5 or 10 or 15 guys that are actually concealing properly. Number one, they are looking at you as though you don't know what you're doing. Okay, and you don't know the law, and they think you are a joke. Okay, that's what they think, because guys who conceal properly, you're not going to see them because they conceal properly.
Exactly.
And number two, if there's something that happens, you are the first target, and they have then time to decide what to do. Should they escape? Should they fire back? Can they find cover? Who's with them? You don't have that time. They're going to jump on you immediately because you're the biggest threat. And it makes you a big target and makes the people around you a big target. So, like you said, don't be that guy. Conceal properly. And when I say properly, conceal properly. Do some effort.
Properly.
Like, spend some money whenever you can within the next couple of months or how many ever, buy a proper belt, buy a proper holster, and make sure that your clothes, when you go out, they are really okay to not give off. People are sharp. Other gun owners out there that really know what they're doing, they're sharp. They're going to see it. They're not going to attack you. They're not the ones. But you make a mistake of thinking that the criminals are idiots. They will also see
Exactly. Don't underestimate them. Just for the viewers, if you appreciate the content of the video, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please smash the bell icon so you can be notified of all our future videos. And do feel free to let us know what you think of all of this in the comments below. We look forward to reading what you have to say and your experiences. And if somebody is listening from, say, the US, just remember, this is South Africa. This is our law here. It has to be a concealed carry. I know there are states in the US where you can open carry and everybody does. That's a completely different thing. That's not what we do over here. That's why the conversation is focused on that. Last but not least, as always, because, as I've mentioned, concealed carry makes your draw that much more intensive and harder work and more work. The crucial thing is, again, training.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You cannot, you can gain a lot from watching videos and stuff, but typically people don't really want to watch videos, and you can get a million different opinions. So come get onto the range, get the correct technique, get the correct advice. And then it's about going home and starting to implement this lifestyle choice that you've made, and dry firing a lot, dry firing your draw a lot, and especially from where you carry. You need to really, dry firing, people at home, sometimes they just sit and rack the gun with an empty gun, rack the gun and click, and rack the gun and click. You need to actually go through the motions. You need to teach your body the muscle memory and the automatic responses to this stuff, because, like you say, drawing from concealment, it includes a little bit of complexity, and there's ways and means about it. But get onto the range, come join us for training, and do your bit at home, and that's the way that you avoid, being a statistic.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, wise words from Roux Wildenboer. If you are interested in any of the training options offered under the loan operator banner, there is a link in the description below. Click on that and check it out, and we look forward to seeing you on a range one of these days. Also remember that this episode is going to be uploaded to our podcast on Spotify. Every time I say that quickly, I have to think about the name. It's new, okay? Give me a break. And the name of the podcast is Quick Shots. So you'll find this episode there and on YouTube in the next couple of weeks. It will be scheduled there. Roux, thank you so much. As always, thank you for your time, expertise. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks, Rian, and goodbye to all of our listeners, and stay safe, and we'll see you on the range.